Good morning, guys. This is your host, Freddy. I'm here speaking before you, well, especially to my dear subscribers on YouTube, to my silent viewers, to my fellow colleagues in PLDT, Kakapig, to all my friends, to all my classmates, to all there in the Philippines, to Filipinos here in the United States, to Canada, to Australia, to New Zealand, Singapore, Taiwan, overseas Filipino workers as a whole. Good morning. This is your host, Freddy. This is the first time I'm joining in the political activities, in the political campaign there back home, because I'm afraid that something might happen if I will not contribute some information regarding for the ongoing election campaign to be held this coming May 2022. Okay? The importance of it rely on the future of our country, in the future of the kids, in the future of the future generation back home. I'm speaking before for the category because there are so many candidates applying for the presidency, the highest position in the Philippines. The highest position, and we have so many candidates, and we need to qualify them for this position because it is a position that decide on the future of the country, whether it is going left or it's going right or it's going down. That is the decision that the chief executive is doing in a certain country, in a certain company. Ganyan po ang pangyayari. Ngayon, sa ngayon, tatlong candidate ang pinakamalakas ngayon diyan sa Pilipinas. Nandiyan na si Vice President Leni Robredo, the 50th Vice President of the Republic of the Philippines. Susunod po dyan ay si BBM, the son of a world-renowned dictator, Ferdinand Marcos Jr., Ferdinand Marcos Sr. He is the son. And when it comes to asset, network, hindi po nakalagay sa Google. Hindi po natin makita. Hindi po siya nagpapahal ng SALN. Why? Unexplained wealth. Yan. Pag hindi po kayo nakapag-file ng SALN, yan po. Paano mo nakuha ang iyong kayamanan? At dahil mayaman siya, nakuha yung kayamanan for unknown sources, hindi po siya nagtatrabaho. Jobless po siya. Hindi po siya, wala po siyang kumpanya na pinatatakbo. Siyempre, pakita mo lang, deposit mo lang yung pera. Yung dirty money, when you invest it in the bank, it becomes legal after a certain period of time. Hindi mo nga makuha. Pero hindi nila makuha yung pera niya dito sa Switzerland at dito sa Amerika, yung iba. Dahil it is frozen. It is frozen. They cannot explain why they get that huge money. Yan ang dahilan. Ngayon, ang pag-uusapan natin ngayon ay yung qualification ng qualification kasi mag-i-interview tayo ngayon ng mga presidente, candidates, presidential candidate. Si Vice President Leni po is a Filipino economist. Graduated from UP Diliman, Quezon City. Okay? So, she is an economist, a college professor, a human rights lawyer. Yan. And serving now, right now, may trabaho siya as the 15th Vice President of the Republic of the Philippines. Ngayon po, involved po siya sa mga civic action, most especially there in Marawi. Yung kanyang balanse, nung kanyang tumakbo ng Vice President, nakalikom mo siya ng pera at ginastos niya dyan sa Marawi. Meron siyang housing project na ang ginawa niya sa mga housing project ay parang prefabricated na Yung mga nakatira, pwede na silang nakatayo na yung bahay, i-improve na lang nila. Yung foundation, nandun na lahat, pagagandahin na lang nila. Yun naman ang dapat, di ba? Yun naman ang dapat. Or, magtayo ka ng mga row of apartment, pero magbabayad sila. Pero ito, walang bayad. Excuse me. Ganyan po. At ngayon po ito ay war-torn city of Marawi. Ganyan po ang ginawa ni Vice President Leni Robredo. Ngayon ay kagagaling lang po niya sa Bohol, Siargao, Surigao, at yung mga small island there na nagbigay siya ng tulong. At katatapos lang niya sa Negros Occidental. Nagpunta ho siya sa Negros Occidental at binigyan din niya ng assistance ang mga tao ron. Na hindi yung politika yun. No? Bagamat in politics na siya ngayon at campaigning, pero inuuna niya ang kanyang civic action job. Hindi po ito ngayon lang nangyayari. Since the pandemic, ay nagtatrabaho na siya. Lumilibuto siya ng Pilipinas. Hindi ko katulad ng ngayong presidente, parating nasa Malacanang, nakahiga. Pwede ba maging presidente ang you know what? In order to be a president, you must be physically active. Kung ako yung nag-a-apply sa trabaho, like in PLDT, one of the most prestigious company in the Philippines, and the giant telecom company in the Philippines. Before you will be accepted, you have to pass your resume. Yung resume, na doon yung qualification mo. Lahat ng qualification mo, education, experience, skills, training, and so many others. Tapos, during the processing of your application, you will be called by the Human Rights Division or the Human Rights or Personal Division, and you will undergo an interview. Interview is very important. Interview is very important. We call it job interview. You agree? Most especially those of you still in PLDT. Nobody or not one among you need to pass a job interview. And that is right now ongoing in the political situation in the Philippines. They are right now undergoing a job interview. If you fail to subject yourself for a job interview, you are automatically out. You're automatically out. In this job interview, you will be asked, do you have a criminal record or a felony record? You must have a clearance from the police, a clearance from the NBI. Yan ang number one. Number two, a job reference. You need this experience because you are offering yourself. You're offering yourself to the government, to the people of the Philippines, to the taxpayers. You are a taxpayer, and being a taxpayer, you are considered stockholders in a cooperative. In the Philippines, in PLDT, PECCI, PECCI, a cooperative. Okay? You agree? Okay. Now, if you pass all of this, then you are qualified. First interview. The second one, a panel interview. A panel interview, which every member of the panel will give you a question and answer. This time, you have to defend yourself on a worst scenario that you will encounter. Hindi madali ang magtrabaho sa PLDT. Hindi rin madali ang maging presidente ng Pilipinas. Hindi rin madali. You have a lot of responsibility. Idolizing is not enough. You have to think of the future of your family, the future of yourself, the future of your medical features, yung being given by the government. Yung pagkamatay ni Claire de la Puente na artista, well known, at yan may pera, milyonaryo yan. Pero what happened? She died in a parking lot in a certain hospital there in Manila. Malapit lang yung parking lot sa ER, emergency room. And yet, she died. Bakit yung nagkaganyan? Ha? Bakit yung ganyan? Kulang ang plano? Kulang ang pag-aaral? Walang worst scenario. Walang worst scenario. And that's dangerous. For a person, candidate, like this one, BBM, Isko Moreno, that have any experience, education, proper education in this kind of being the chief executive. Kung sa company ho ito, delikado ito, maaari kayong malugi at pagkakalugi nyo, apektado ang buong pamilya nyo. Sana maintindihan nyo. Ngayon, sasabihin ko sa inyo what is the background of Vice President Leni Robredo. She is a political economist from UP, a politician, and government official, being the 50th Vice President of the Republic of the Philippines. Yan. Yan po si Vice President Leni Robredo. Yan po yan. Yan. Kaya, meron siyang kakayahan being the Vice President. As she knows, critical ho ang situation ng Pilipinas. Nawala ang Malampaya rig, yung ating langis. Nawala ho yan. Ang pinoproduce ho niyan ay natural gas. Natural gas that can power electricity. Nawala ho yan. Ibinigay ho yan sa isang Chinese. Payag ho ba kayo? In every country that has oil, very rich ho yan. Kaya anuman ang rason, pwede tayong gumawa ng paraan upang magkaroon uli ng langis. Pero para ibigay sa isang katulad ng isang Chinese na to, ay hindi karapat-dapat. At ito ay, we could call it a treason manner. Kasi ito po, ang langis ay para sa Pilipinas, para sa mga Pilipino, na makapagbibigay at makakapagpondo sa medical care or Medicare of the Filipinos. Hindi mamamatay ang maraming Pilipino dahil meron tayong pinagkukunan ng pondo. At yan ay atin. Ang ating mangingisda ay nawalan ng trabaho. Gawa ng pinabayaan ng current administration na masakop yung West Philippine Sea at kaya na binobomba ng tubig ang mga ating mangingisda. At katunayan, umi-import pa tayo ng isda na galing sa Philippine Sea. Ini-import natin. Ang ating ating economy, imbis na mag-export tayo ang bumibili sa sarili nating isda. Niluluto tayo sa sarili nating mantika. Ito pang karapat-dapat. Kung walang alam ang isang presidente, paano na, saan direction tayo papulutin? Sa pamilya nyo, kung ang inyong padre de pamilya ay walang alam, sa katiyakan ba nyo, may magandang future na pupuntahan ng inyong pamilya? Sino ba ang mga pamilya na mga anak ay naging successful, kundi dahil sa padre de pamilya? Kasi the padre de pamilya is being looked up as their model. How could you be a model like this one, candidate for president, without any experience, working experience, without enough education? Well, okay, but that is not enough to run a company, to run a city, to run a government, to run a country. Nasa sa inyo na ang inyong desisyon. Ang pagiging idolized dahil may pera, nangako, puro pangako, pero hindi niya maibigay kung ano ang gagawin niya. Umiiwas siya sa interview, umiiwas siya sa debate, umiiwas siya sa lahat. At ang ginawa niya habang yung mga kasama niyang kandidato ay nagluluto. Naku, tama ba yun? That is a description of a responsible candidate for employment. Sa akin, desisyon. Dahil siya ay nag-a-apply ng trabaho as President of the United States, of the Philippines, I'm sorry. Ang aking desisyon, ang aking verdict. Yan. Kayo po, ano ang iyong desisyon? Ano ang verdict nyo? Tingnan nyo education, tingnan nyo experience. Yan. Yung dalawang yan. Tingnan nyo education, tingnan nyo ang kanyang working experience. And that's more than enough. Aside, kalimutan na natin iba. Yung dalawa lang yun. Experience and education. Yan. Experience and education. Kung kaya niya. Maraming salamat. Ito ang inyong likod. Filipino sa America Vlog. Your host, Freddy. Okay. YouTube channel. Maraming salamat to.